Hello and welcome to another update video on the project I was working on, have been working on for a few months now, 2-3 months, something like that, which is an online editor for the Node Modular, the G1 variants that exist. It's been a while since I made an update video like this, and quite a few things have been added to the site, so I thought let's go through the changes. So when I looked at my last video, a lot of the modules were not done yet layout wise. A lot of them were using fallback layouts that were not fully empty, basically. So I've been hard at work to get all the modules in, as you can see. And if you know the original editor, I am mimicking the layout of the original modules. Not the style in which those are done, slightly different, but where everything is positioned is exactly the same, or as close as I could get to it. So yeah, I have a lot of those done. I have all of them done. They're not all finished. The graphical displays, as you can see here, they are still empty. I think I did one of them. But the numeric displays like these are all implemented and also have been improved upon, because in the previous video they were all still raw 7-bit values, so 0 to 127, and the editor shows, the original editor shows them in various ways: hertzes, time, seconds, as you can see here. It differs quite a bit, so I went through them all. These here are ratios. Some of them have ratios. The slave lfos and slave oscillators. Slave oscillators have were a bit more complex, with the fact that they have these partial selectors or partial navigators, basically, which are actually presets of the two dials that influence the frequency. So as you can see here, you go through a lot of stuff, a lot of ratios. Some of them there was one, nice ratios, integer ratios. Yeah, to get that work with this thing was a bit of a finding out how that exactly behaves in the original editor, but yeah, so these both have influence on that. I also added these, which are also in the original editor, which increment or decrease the value by 1, which is not what this value now displays, but yeah, these are very handy. Yeah, we've got these nice icons for these selectors now, so yeah, nearly there. Few exceptions, mostly the graphical display, some icons here and there, but I think they all look pretty nice. Then let's go to the actual editor, which is connected to my, where do we see it? Here in the top left, Node Modular keys, showing slot 1 currently. So what has changed here? We have morph groups. As you may or may not know, the original had this very nice feature, or the original, the Node Modular has a very nice feature where you can assign as many knobs as you want to a group, and basically, or to a morph group, one of those 4. And you can turn one up and then control a lot of stuff. And I've done it in the same way as the original editor. There's this menu. We have knob assignment, which was already in there, but we also now have the morph group assignment, so you can assign them to a group, they get this color, as you can see, and then you can assign a range that the morph dial up here should have on this particular effect. I've now done that through a quick modal, but for example, you can give it a range of 50, and you see that appear on the knob here. And yeah, whenever you would turn this knob, you won't see that visually, but this is the range that the effect of the morph group. Morph disable. We also have the same thing, MIDI controllers that you can assign. This is also recently added. We have file import and output, so these patches can be saved to dedicated .pch files. Yeah, you can read them by dropping it here. So that's also new. We have the settings for both the synth and the patch. The synth are more global. Patch settings are specifically, obviously, for the patch. What else do we have? We have some panels here on the right. I've moved some things around. Things may still move around in the future, but we have a help side panel here for some information on how to interact with the editor. We have editor settings specifically. We have a patch browser. These are now loaded from the synth. So you can, yeah. This was already in there, but you can load things from the synth. This is the one we were looking at. Editor settings also has some freedom to allow you how to see these these displays. So these greenish displays are a kind of a theme that you can change in, I don't know, 15 or something. And you can invert each one of them, and you can see that you can also assign one to dark mode, because we also have a dark mode, which is obviously useful because most patching is done during the night, I would say. Let's see how we get to dark mode. Oh, there's a button here, but it's also a button here. Yeah, spent quite some time to get this looking nicely. I think I really like the setting, and obviously this really helps when it's late at night and your monitor is not necessarily needed to brighten your whole room or your eyes. So yeah, dark mode is always a nice feature. Let's put this back to, what did we have? This one that we have. So yeah, that's what we have. We also have, I think that's the biggest new feature, or at least the feature that is a bit different from the other features, and that's what I just showed you was functionality that already was in the original editor. But the inspector allows you to do some stuff that was not possible in the original editor, and which I had some fun with coming up with and thinking about, hey, what can we do with that? So obviously what you will see is information about the selected module. You get a small piece of text, and you get some more stuff. And for nearly every module, what you will see is this text and a randomize section. There are a few modules that have more, but most of them nearly all of them have this. And the randomize section is, well, obviously you probably know what it will do, but what it does is it lists automatically every single parameter in that module. And parameters can be a lot of things, so also on-off buttons are also parameters for the not modular. It's all just listed on the parameters, and you can say here the ranges in which you want a randomize action to happen. You have a big randomize button here, and obviously when you click it, you will get varieties. And that is always a lot of fun when you're building patches. Just hit randomize a few times and see what interesting combinations come up. You can exclude certain things. You probably do not want the mute to be oops. So you can render cables behind the modules if they're blocking your interaction. So you can include the mute button from being randomized, the punch button, well, that can be fun. And you can see, yeah, this can be a lot of fun. When you select more than one module, as you can see, this thing has a lot more, the drum synth has a lot more parameters to randomize. Selecting more than one will give you a randomize all selected modules here in the top. You can still choose to randomize only this part. But yeah, this way you can, as you can see, randomize as much as you want. More randomization, more fun is the motto here, I guess. These settings are persisted, so if you select it again, it will remember what you had set it to. Otherwise, you keep on resetting to, yes, changing the sliders all the time. Very annoying. So that's what we have. We have some special randomized features for slave oscillators and slave LFOs. So if we grab a slave oscillator, or maybe, oh, there was already one in there as well, I see. There is one here. So a slave oscillator has, well, as you can see again, the list of parameters, but as you can also maybe see, I'm not sure if this is the best way I should represent this, but the detune coarse and detune fine are combined in this block, and you can randomize them however you want, or in the way you already randomized the previous stuff. Just randomize these two values, two parameters, but you can also, for this box, choose to randomize in exact ratios, which is obviously a lot more fun if you are looking for exact ratios, because randomizing them otherwise is not going to give you a lot of exact ratios. So the slider changes into one slider, should enable it, and it will give you here the range of the ratios that this was capable of, which was, what was it? 1 to 32 and the inverse of that, and you can just say, hey, give me all, give me only nice ratios, and it will, as you can see in the display here, it will only give you randomized values for that. You can even say, I only want the even ratios, or I only want the odd ratios, which can be very distinct, can have very distinct results, or even and odd, which will give you all the possible results. So that's a nice feature to work with randomization on slave oscillators, and the same goes also for slave LFOs, which work the same. There are also some other extra things, and those exist mostly in the sequencer section. So there are 4 sequencers in the Node modular. Event sequencer, a control sequencer, and 2 node sequencers. And they have some more features to them. First of all, let's hide the cables. First of all, the randomized section is a bit different because if I would list the raw parameters for these, for the event sequencer, for example, every single button is a parameter, actually, for the Node modular. So you would get 32 parameters, and you would just randomize them with the one button again. But I chose to give it a bit of a different flavor here. So you basically only have 2 sliders, and you set a density for the upper sequence or the lower sequence, and you just set the density basically. Apart from that, this one, or actually all the sequences, also have a generate section and a modify section. So the modify section will modify whatever is already in there. So this top one has some multiple operations, invert, shift, and reverse. So you can say both sequencers, the range of 16, you can shift them left, for example, or shift them right, or reverse them, or invert them. And there's a mirror option. Mirrors 1/2 of the range steps onto the other half. We have a swap section where the bottom will swap with the top section. And we also have a generate section where we basically don't modify the stuff, but we generate the stuff. We have Euclidean rhythms, as they are called, which tries to fit an amount of pulses in a given amount of steps, basically. We have some very basic presets. There are not a lot in here. I should improve on that. Add some more. This basically is a preset that will just give you some rhythms. Every end will add a certain step on every given index, so every third, for example. So yeah, that's what the event sequencer has, and we also have similar things for the node sequencers, both node sequencers. Let's see, how do we get one node sequencer? Start a new patch, get a node sequencer in here. So the node sequencer has also a randomizer, completely different. We have a generate section and a modify section. Well, the modify section, very limited. You see what it does, it shifts and reverses. We have a randomize section where you can get a scale, select a scale, pentatonic minor. For example, you can have it say randomized, give me 16 steps, lower upper bound, repeat is now off, and it will, yeah, it's hard to see because this is not the most ideal way to look at it, but it basically selects random notes out of this given selection of notes. You can also customize it and select whatever you want. You can also go not in a random mode, but you can go in a stepwise mode, which will increase every time the step size, and the step size is in this given selection of notes, so you can stay in scale. So if you would say, hey, step size of 1, this is a randomizer again, you can go in this scale up by 1 on every step, but you can also randomize it a bit. It now picks a note between 1 and 3, random, and it will do that. You can select the direction. You can tell it what happens at the boundary, so it can bounce back instead of reset. You can also say, I want to repeat some steps, so whatever you generate for this pattern, let's repeat what we have from 1 to 5. Get some weird syncopation going on. We can even, for every repeat, we can add some chromatic changes, or in scale changes, or transposition actually, it's a transpose mode. So you can, on every repeat you can say, hey, let's increase by 2 or something. So that's a lot of options you can do for the randomizer. Where is the repeat section? We also have an arpeggiator, which we all know arpeggiators. It's maybe a bit different than what you're used to. Not sure. I just thought of this. Basically, you have a sequence that gets repeated, the semitone sequence. You can fill in your own values. You can add more values to it or add less. It will basically repeat through this section, and it will repeat itself here on the bottom and give it an offset, in this case of 12 semitones. So if you were to set this template sequence, so a minor chord, this will just give you some presets above. Minor chord, 1 times repeat, and the repeat offset is plus 12, and it will then do 3 steps, repeat 1 octave above, and then go back to the start basically. And get some kind of arpeggio in that way by doing whatever it is you want to do. So this is a bit the basic setup I have now for these things. I think especially the note and the event sequencer or the sequencer section is very fun to have these tools on instead of manually changing all these values. It's always very nice to have randomization, arpeggiators, or some kind of algorithm that fills your either event sequencer or note sequencer. So that's I think it's very fun to play with. I think that's about it. Things that are coming up are now that I have quite a bit of what you want to do with editing. There are some more features like storing things in your synth, more things that need to go into these menus, but patch-wise you can do quite a bit what the original editor already does. And given that, I think the next steps will probably have to be the user part of the website, where you have an account. You can save your patches, you can view other people's patches, you can comment on them and discuss them, you can vote on them probably. Things like that, the things you do when you can log in on a website. So that's something I will be working on probably for the coming weeks, months. Also, in other news, I bought last weekend an G2, which I never owned. I always owned I started out with a micro modular 26 years ago or something like that. Then quickly bought a keys, not modular keys, that I've had in my possession since then. But last weekend I thought, hey, I see this G2 engine. I had already read a bit about it, whether that would be possible to do the same thing with. as in provide an editor in the same website, because G2 operates with USB, which is obviously a lot handier than what the G1 versions did with these things with Midi. But yeah, it seems like I should be able to communicate with that machine as well. So my plan is, and that is not a very short-term plan, but at some point I really would like the G2 to also be supported by this website, and yeah, give it the same amount of interaction and user storing capabilities, so people can store their patches here, browse other people's patches, and with one button load them into their own synth that you have connected, and that all through the browser. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you want to ask questions, put them in the comments, or there's a Discord link here. Come join the Discord and tell me what you think about it, or post bugs so I can fix them. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and hope to see you the next time. Bye bye.